Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make a concertina book. My name is Heidi Sanfilippo and I've been a teaching artist for about 20 years. I've also had the opportunity to work with young audiences and also with Apply last year. So I'm going to walk you through this. It might seem a little complicated in the beginning, but it's really not. So this is what it looks like. This is the Concertina book. Okay, it's pretty small. It's got a front and a back, and it's tied together with ribbon. Okay, I'm gonna open it up and show you what it looks like inside. Get this out of the way. So when I open it up, you can see there are there's 3 separate papers, but 4 separate squares. This is one paper, this is one, this is another one. Then what I did to embellish it, I just wrote on it, remember to, then I chose the words breathe, create, and laugh. And it's not completely done so that you would be able to see how it's constructed. When you make yours, I would really suggest that you embellish and decorate all of the inside. It looks a lot more finished that way. And it just folds back up. Like I said, seems complicated, but it's pretty easy. And then you can just tie it back up. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through this step by step. So here are some of the things you're going to need. And hopefully you should be able to find a lot of these around your house. So you need scissors. You need a glue stick. You could also use Elmer's if you don't have a glue stick. You need good old pencil. You need some ribbon. This is about a 1/2 inch thick. And probably you need about 24 inches to it. If you don't exactly have ribbon, you could also use yarn. It's just really to tie it together. You also need a few sheets of copy paper, just plain old white copy paper. You're gonna need some black construction paper. It could really be any color. That's for actually the inside. You can't really see it, but the inside of the cover, okay? So you need that. You also, some markers will come in handy. Some tape. I used wrapping paper for mine. I really like this pattern. So that's what I used. You can also use scrapbook paper if you guys have seen any of that, or any other decorative paper. Also, you're gonna need a couple of pieces of light to medium weight cardboard. As you can see, I cut these out of some boxes I had around the house. This was a hot chocolate box. This was the back of a pizza box. So about that thickness, not real heavy, not real thick. And also, you're gonna need a magazine or some junk mail to collage it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is take out your pieces of just copy paper, okay? I already pre-measured some of this just in the interest of time. So what I did was I measured a 6 by 6 square. This is a little bit smaller than the printed directions said, just because I thought it worked a little bit better. But you could do 6 by 6. Some people do 8 by 8. But for this, we're going to do 6 by 6. So you're going to measure a 6 by 6 square on 3 pieces of your copy paper. So you're going to have 1, 2, and then 3. Then what you're going to do is cut them out, okay? You're just going to very carefully cut it. And it's very important to do this as neatly as you can and as carefully as you can, especially this part, because this part, these are what turns into the folded pages. So if they're a little crooked, it's probably gonna be a little bit off. Okay, so once you have 3 of these, I'm not gonna cut all 3. I'm sure you guys can figure out how to cut 3. Okay, you're going to fold them. Okay, now this is where it comes in and it's a little tricky. Okay, I have my 6x6 square. So the first thing I'm gonna do is fold it up. Okay, so you're just gonna fold it up, horizontal fold, okay? And make sure your creases are really, really sharp, okay? Then I'm gonna take this side and fold it over here. Okay. And you'll see my little 6, just so we know how big it is. And then I'm going to crease them. Okay. Then you're going to open it up. Then you're going to fold this corner to this corner over here. I'm using scrapbook paper, or scrap paper, so you see a little of my writing. I'm just going to fold it into a triangle. Again, you want to match it up. You want to crease it as well as you can, okay? If it's a little off, you can see this one, you can trim it a little, but I would kind of avoid doing that if you can, because you want to have points. So when you're done, you're gonna see that you have a vertical fold, a horizontal fold, and 1 diagonal. It's very, very important to remember to only have 1 diagonal, okay? You know, it doesn't matter if you've done it this way or whatever, but you only want 1, okay? And you're gonna put that aside. Then you're going to do that 2 more times, okay? So you're going to end up with 3 of these squares that are all folded, okay? So just again, you have your square, you fold in half again, and open it, and fold the corners, okay? There is only 1 diagonal fold, all right? So after we do 3 of them, this is where it gets a little tricky. Okay, so you have 3 of them. These are already attached, and like I said, when you lay them all out, this is just a bigger version of the smaller book, okay? So this is 1 square, this is another square, and this is another square. When you lay them out, it's very important that the middle one, we're gonna call this kind of a mountain shape because it's kind of going up, all right? And my diagonal fold is going straight. Then the other 2 are valleys. I know it's a little hard to see probably, but these are kind of, you know, the V is kind of going this way. This one over here is doing the same thing. So you want a mountain in the middle and the 2 valleys on the edge. So this is how you're going to attach them. Okay, I have mine taped just so I can show you. So you're going to take your mountain one, okay, mountain in the middle. These are a little crinkly, okay? So it's the mountain one in the middle. Then you're gonna take your glue stick, and on one of the valleys, you should see this square, not the one with the diagonal fold. You're gonna put a lot of glue stick, and kind of match up the crease to the edges, okay? You're gonna do the same thing over here. Again, you can see my tape just so it sticks a little better. Then you're gonna, I'm matching up, okay, my edges of my paper of my mountain fold, which is now a little crushed, to my valleys, okay? I'm gonna kind of fill it in with pencil so you can see it a little bit better. This is 1 crooked line, but that's my mountain peak. Then my diagonal one for over here is going this way, and it's going this way. Okay, so after you have that all together, Make sure that you glued it down really well. Then we're going to do a little bit of refolding here. Like I said, this is a little bit bigger, so you just kind of have to bend it in. I know some of this is going to be off camera, but you're just going to kind of fold it all in, okay? And you're going to have these two things, these two edges touch and just smush, okay? And you're going to kind of touch and smush the whole thing, okay, until you get it to look like, till it gets back to be a square, okay? This is the finished one. And I'm showing you this because this paper is a little heavier. And also it's a little smaller, so it's a little easier to see. So, again, this is one square. The paper is underneath. This middle one is on top. So this is on top of this is on top of this, and that one, okay? So this was my mountain, these were my valleys. It's a little folded differently because it's a little bit worn out, but you get the idea. So then you're going to have your 3 papers attached, okay? So that's what you did with your 6x6 squares. Then after that, okay, you might have to play with it and refold them a couple of times to, you know, get it back to where it goes. It doesn't always want to do what it's supposed to, but that's what you want to do, okay? So the next step, make sure they're all glued down really well. Fold it a couple times. You might have to fold it back and forth in order to get it the way you want it to be, and that's totally fine. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is take your cardboard, okay? I'm going to use the back of my pizza box, all right? And you are going to take your folded paper, right? And I'm going to, let's just say this is my folded paper, okay? So I'm going to take my folded paper. These are my 3. They're all attached. And I'm going to place it on the cardboard. And I'm going to actually put it on this side. Okay, so put it on the cardboard. And then I'm going to just measure maybe about, I'm not measuring this again, just in the interest of time. But I would measure maybe about, oh, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch. And again, use a ruler for this. I'm not, because I'm just trying to kind of speed it up. But what you want to do is have some of the cardboard, like the cardboard is a little bit bigger than the paper, okay? You need to do this twice. So after you do that, you're going to cut it out, okay? Okay, so there's my one. And if you want to kind of save time, you can just get your other cardboard, just kind of put it down like that. And you're going to cut it. Again, you guys are going to measure these, okay? I didn't because of time. And you just want it to be a little bit bigger than your 3 folded squares, okay? So again, my 3 folded squares, and that's my cardboard. You can see it's a little bit bigger, and you have 2 of them, okay? So after you do that, put your folded squares aside, take out your wrapping paper, your decorative paper, whatever you have, okay? You don't need a whole lot. My wrapping paper is a little bit flimsy, so if yours is, just be very careful. You're gonna kind of do the same thing. This wrapping paper is awesome because it kind of comes with little guidelines. So what we want to do is, again, leave a little bit of a margin or a lip, probably about 1/2 inch, okay? I'm eyeballing this, all right? Then what you could do is trace around it like this. Okay. You do need 2 of these, so a good way to get that done in a quick manner is just fold it. Then you're going to cut them out. Again, if you have guidelines, it's great. I kind of ended up not using them, but that's okay too. Okay. Get rid of the scraps. Okay. So now you have 2 squares of wrapping paper or whatever decorative paper you've chosen to use. Okay, so kind of look at them, decide which one you want to be the front. This pattern, it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, so now I'm going to flip them over. I'm going to get my cardboard back out. Okay. And you want to make sure that these are, okay, this is actually, don't do this. You should make your wrapping paper a little bit bigger than your cardboard, okay? So what you might want to do is get a bigger sheet. You can do it the other way, but this I think looks a lot more finished. So you're going to cut it a little bit bigger. Like this. Then you're going to fold it this way. You're pretty much just folding it inside. So you have a finished cover. Like I said, you can make them the exact same size like I did with these, but then what's going to happen is you're going to see the edge of cardboard. So then you can just fold these over, kind of like wrapping a present. You are going to see that like it's going to kind of come over a little bit. That's where you can use some tape if you want. If you have Elmer's glue, you could use that. Then I would unfold it. Take the glue stick. I'd put the glue stick on the cardboard because I think it's always a little easier. Just around the edges. Then bend it. Bend this one in. Then you can bend this one in like this. If you want, you can kind of trim each corner like that. It will make it lay a little bit flatter when you're done. Okay, put this one in here. Again, you can trim them. Okay, get my scraps out of the way. Okay. All right, so that's going to be one of your covers, okay? So then you're gonna do the same thing again. So you're gonna end up with 2 of these, okay? And again, you can do it like that if you want some of the cardboard to show through, or you can fold it over and have it be more finished. Okay, the next part, you're going to take your colored construction paper. I'm gonna use black, okay? You can put your finished cover on, and again, I'm just matching it up. I'm gonna go like this, and I'm going to trace it. And again, remember you need 2 of these. And I'm gonna cut it. Hold on, I just gotta put it in the light so I can see. Okay. Now once you've done that part, obviously, oh, we didn't cut the one side. You wanna trim it. When you trace it and cut it out, you're gonna have something that's about as big as your square. See, that's would be my front, and this would be my inside. So I would suggest maybe trimming it a little, okay? Because you really don't want this to show on the outside. So just trim it a little bit. Okay, when you're happy with trimming it, also the idea is we're covering up, I'm going to trim a little more here, our wrapping paper. So it has a more finished and a more polished look. I'm going to put some glue on it. Be kind of generous with the glue on this part. Then I'm going to kind of center it. I kind of don't want the cardboard to show, right? You don't want to look at this and see Swiss Miss. Then just kind of flatten it out, okay? Turn it over, flatten it again. Okay, and again, you're going to do 2 of these, okay? Because for your finished product, you're going to have 1 on the front and 1 on the back, okay? So again, it's cardboard. Then you put the wrapping paper on it, a little bit big, fold it in, glue it down, trace the black paper, trim it a little smaller, and glue it. So once you have 2 of those, you're set. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is you have your 2 sides. You're going to take your folded 3 papers, okay? Remember, 1 paper, 2nd paper, 3rd paper. You're going to make sure you have them lined up the right way, okay? This is my diagonal, is now going vertical, diagonal, diagonal, okay? Then you're going to glue them to your front and your back, okay? So, all you have to do is take your glue stick, put some glue on here, make sure that you are gluing a square to each side, okay? After you do that, you should see the finished product. This is the inside. If you flip it over, that's what the other side looks like, okay? Square goes to square, square goes to square, all right? So, once you've done all that, okay, and again, you might have to kind of constantly fold it around to make sure that everything folds in. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, and you might also need some tape maybe to put around here. You can see I put a little tape right there just to hold it together. So you can take a minute, set this aside, and I want you to think of 3 words. 3 things either that you would like to do that you don't do enough of, 3 words that inspire you, 3 words that make you happy, make it easier for you to create, whichever you think. I chose to go with remember to. So you can see over here in marker, I just wrote remember to, okay? I chose breathe because a lot of times I get so busy with what I'm doing and caught up in the moment that I tend to hold my breath and not relax. So I chose the word breathe. Then my next word is create, okay? Because again, I get so busy that sometimes I just don't have time to sit down and draw or paint or make things. And also, my last word I chose was laugh, because I think it's really important to see the humor in things, especially these days. So when you open my book, mine says, remember to breathe, create, and laugh. And what I did is I put down remember to, then I just wrote the words, and then I just decided to kind of doodle around them. This is where your creativity and your individuality comes in. You're going to choose different words, and you could absolutely decorate them, embellish them in a different way. The most important thing to remember is I wrote, this is a square. Okay, I'm outlining it with pencil kind of because I know it's a little bit hard to see on the video, right? So in my first square, I wrote remember to. This was a square, okay? Then I wrote my next word. In my next square, I wrote my next word, and finally, I wrote this word, okay? So 1 square, 2 square, 3rd square, and 4th square, okay? I deliberately didn't put anything up here yet because I wanted you all to see the way that I laid it out first, okay? So again, write the words. I just made a little couple curly cues around it. I used just some markers. You can use colored pencils, even crayons. You could do it black and white. Whatever you think is going to work for you. So I wrote the words, I embellished them, and if I had a little more time, I might keep going. Like, I like this design, so I might keep going with it. And again, you see, because it's very, the shape of the book is very angular, so that's why I wanted to put some curves in it. But again, your project, you can do it however you want, okay? Then again, you could fill it in and go all the way around. I have some polka dots over here for this one, okay? Then the other thing I did is I took my magazine, was over here, and if you can see underneath my breathe picture, I have a picture of a cat. I love cats and I think they're very calming, so I chose the picture of the cat out of the magazine to remind me to breathe. For Create, I cut out some hands out of the magazine of a person making something. And then for my last one that says laugh, I chose a picture of Betty White because I think she's very funny. She makes me laugh. So again, once you've written your words in your squares, you can embellish them a little bit with the markers, color them in, make some patterns, make some polka dots. Then you're going to take your magazine. I'm going to move this out of the way, right? I just have people because I have it laying around. So you're going to go through. This part takes a lot of time. I marked one off if I can find it. Here it is. Okay. So you're going to just go through and you're going to see if any of the images kind of go with your words, okay? So again, I like cats. I also like dogs. So I like this picture of the dog. I'm going to cut him out. And I would suggest kind of trying to find very small pictures because, as you can see here, these are very small. Because if you glue a giant picture here, you're going to have trouble folding this up. So I'm going to cut out my dog. You don't have to cut all around it. You can kind of, you know, cut the basic shape of him. All right, like that. So I'm going to give him a little trim. Okay, and for me, he reminds me to breathe. So I think I'm going to put him right up here. Okay, and then as you continue with your marker designs, okay, you could kind of work it in. Like I have these curly cues kind of going up here. You could kind of go around like this. So he's a little bit more incorporated, okay? Then you could just fill it in. And again, however many magazine pictures you choose to use, that's up to you and the time that you have. You could use a few, you could absolutely draw a few, okay? But the goal here is to eventually fill in all the parts. So when you open it, you see kind of like a personalized collage of words you need to remember or words that inspire you, okay? So you get the idea. So the next thing, once you've done all that, make sure it's all glued down really well. You're going to fold it back up. It's, like I said, sometimes tricky. And then you're going to have your square. So you're going to kind of, let me see. All right, this is my front. Maybe make a little mark so you know what the front is. Then you're going to take your ribbon. Again, make sure everything is all glued down. Cut maybe, I don't know. Maybe you could do like probably 18, 24 inches. It's personal preference. It kind of depends. So you're just going to cut it off, okay? Then you're going to wrap it like a present. So I know this is my top, okay? Because I can peek in. It says remember to. So I'm just going to put it down. You can, if you want, I didn't, but you can, if you want, put a little piece of tape here so it holds your ribbon in. You know, it's just really simple. You could just like tape it down. But beware, you know, it might tear your paper. Then you're just going to take it and tie your ribbon, just like wrapping a present, okay? So, hold on, let me get this going here. It's just like wrapping a present. You might want to get a friend to kind of hold your knot down. I'm going to make a bow and tie it like this. And then you're just going to kind of tie it tightly, but you want to make sure like you have the right amount of tension, okay, because you don't want the end of the books to bend. And then you can just trim it. I always like to make a nice angle. And there you have it. Your book is all done. So when you want to look at it, like when you get a little, hold on. So that's it. It's all done, and enjoy. Thank you.